last question, do you have any advice for other teachers who might be doing work in their classrooms that potentially could invite critique or backlash, but they're doing it in a way that serves students? What would you say to those teachers?
Yeah, for those teachers who are doing this work, I would first and foremost say make sure that you have your rhyme and reason to do it and be prepared for that. And what I mean by that is not that you always have to be on the defensive, but usually what I see with a lot of critiques in an English classroom, and we're seeing it a lot across the country, is what is the purpose for teaching it this way? What is the purpose for doing it that way? So actually, my first piece of advice is make those connections and really connect with the students. And I know some people hate hearing that because they want to get to content or, it's like beating a dead horse, but that truly is for me the biggest deal breaker. Communicate with parents, communicate with students, give them opportunities to be themselves and do projects and assignments where they get to explore those things um, without being graded too harshly on that. So for me, I do a lot of like writing prompts or project. I actually do a whole ungrading method for courses, but we don't have time to talk about it. But that is like bridge some gaps for me as well. So that support piece is advice number one. Number two would be to have your rhyme and reason, like I talked about with my standards, why we're learning it in a particular way. Because that has always helped me and supported me in that regard, right? So, for example, in Queer Lit, when we talk about sapphic poetry, we write sapphic stanzas, we learn about poetry in a particular way, and we learn about that form. So it's always tied to these standards, and we're basically just learning a new poetic form. And one of the books we read is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, and um, that's been banned and challenged in the past ever since it was published, really. So we think about what do we learn from it? What are the lessons tied to it? So we're always thinking about those things and giving the rhyme and reason for why we are doing it. And it's got a lot to talk about European and American culture, which, whatever. So if advice number one is, excuse me, um, have the support of your students and parents and support them and communicate with them. And then two is to have your rhyme and reason and have it laid out for why we're doing it. Because it may not even be, you know, common text. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained at the moment thinking about this. One text that seems to get challenged or a parent complains about every year in our district is "Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God." I have never gotten that critique when I've taught it, but we teach it pretty regularly in our American Lit course. So we are always prepared with the rhyme and reason. And for the most part, I think most parents actually let us do it. We've had a couple parents where it's been, you need an alternative. I think other teachers can probably relate to that. And is what it is. And then the third piece of advice would be to prioritize your safety. And that may seem counterintuitive at times, but I know there are districts out there that you may not always have the support of other people. And you have to do it in a particular way that you are not harming yourself. And I'm literally a person where, and this is weird to say, but if I was ever in a situation where it was like, they told me they're like, well, if you continue doing this, we're going to fire you. I'm going to say, then you're going to fire me. And that's a decision I'm going to make. But I know that's not what everyone's position is. And that's okay. We need to be able to live. We need a living wage. We need to be able to support ourselves. But you need to be able to keep your safe, whatever that means. And maybe sometimes, I've been in districts where it's like you have to teach the same exact thing, A, B, C, D, like every day at the same pace with other people. Change it up a little bit. Anyone. And maybe some people may be like, don't ever do that. Blah, blah, blah. But like, it's okay to do things if your students need it. And if you have students who need it, and that's not even just about everything we talked about today, but just certain accommodations or things to get them more engaged with things, that's okay. Like you need to go about it at your own pace. But you need to keep yourself safe with that. And maybe part of that is you do a little bit of like some writing prompts or open-ended writing, and then you open it up to do these more cool things. You don't have to explode and do it all at once. You have to do things that keep yourself safe, but at the same time, it's okay to take a risk as well because your students, it seems very, very scary, but once you do it, your students will appreciate you more than you think. And that's what I think about is like, for as much as anyone has been mad at me, I have a sticker on the back of my computer that I don't remember exactly what it says. And behind, we're like taking out the carpet up here, so I don't want to move my laptop because it's a mess. But it says like, I'll be fine. I just need to be dramatic about it first. And that sticker for me is kind of how I live a lot of things. Like if I'm upset about something, I just need to like revel in my feelings about it and not necessarily take it out on anyone. And then I'll be fine because then I'm like, you know what? We're going to keep moving forward with what we're doing. Um, and it's okay. It's okay. We can be in our feelings and recognize that, but there's no need in dwelling on it because at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing is what is best for students and what they need. And so advice number one, support your students, support your parents, support your community, and they will support you back. Two, um, I don't even remember what number two was, but number three,
Rhyme and reason.
yes, rhyme and reason. And number three, keep yourself safe with that. And I just remind myself, I didn't go into teaching to be a martyr or to be this like great person that's influential. Like winning these awards, wonderful, love it. I didn't do it for these awards, even when I got um, the Bill Konigsberg Award and the 30 under 30. It was very exciting, but sometimes I just look and I'm like, I'm just doing what I can because I believe education is powerful and I want students to be empowered by it. And I have to remind myself of that mission every day.